Hello, so this is the second year of doing our voice predictions, and we're going to be making voice predictions for 2021. So the way this works is I'll make a prediction, 3 predictions for Amazon, 3 for Google, 3 for Apple, and then 3 just general industry predictions. And then for each prediction, next year in December 2021, we'll be reviewing them. And there's a point system, so 2 points for if I absolutely nailed the prediction, 1 point for partially accurate, minus 1 point for not completely wrong but pretty wrong, and then minus 2 points for way off. You can see our last video when I was reviewing my predictions for 2020, and yeah, not the best score. So let's see how we can do this year. So we'll start off with Amazon. So my first 3 predictions are essentially Amazon will launch a VR headset and they'll use Alexa as your host, and then from that you'll be able to access different types of content, video content, new VR games, but maybe there'll be some tie-in with Alexa skills. But the main point there is that you're going to be using Alexa to control. Second one is the idea of voice profiles. So voice profiles allow you to basically talk to your Alexa and it will pick up yourself versus somebody else in your household. So the prediction here is using voice profiles across different devices in other people's homes, or maybe even outside of the home. So if you went to a store and there's an Alexa device there, you'll be able to talk to it and it will know who you are from your voice profile. So maybe you'll need some added authentication with a PIN or maybe via the app, but the prediction is kind of there to be able to start to use your version of Alexa elsewhere. And the third one is around generating revenue with Alexa skills. So slightly different way of generating revenue with skills. We have in-skill purchases at this moment in time. Maybe there'll be some changes with the model in terms of how those payments are done. But the other thing is maybe Amazon will open up so that you can then sell products from the Amazon store within your skill, kind of on an affiliates basis. So you could then say, oh, would you like to buy a product? And then you could pick any product from the Amazon store, and then that could be sold through your skill, and then you'd earn an affiliate commission. So very similar to the affiliates that are already out there. Google, so they did release some new devices last year, and that was one of my predictions, but this prediction is specific on a brand new screen device aimed at the working from home video kind of marketplace. So maybe we're looking at 2 different cameras, maybe like a wide view camera when you're talking at home and like a narrow view camera then when you're on a call for a business, etc. To be able to use Zoom or one of the other services. And then maybe also something to do with the movement of the devices we've seen with the new Echo Show. Second one, Google will have a replacement for implicit invocation. So implicit invocation doesn't happen as often on Google, so that's where you ask the Google Assistant to do a task, and then it will do that task, and it will then, sorry, it won't do that task, it will suggest a Google action to open. So in the new view, my suggestion is that they'll start to basically connect with third-party APIs and services, and then Google will then perform that action on your behalf. So an example would be, I want to buy a movie ticket, and then you'll have an interaction with Google, but what happens is Google will be interacting with a ticket provider in the back end, and at no real point you'll kind of have a conversation with that brand. Google might say, do you want to buy it from this brand? But Google will handle that conversation. And the third one is around buying products via the Google Assistant. So at the moment, and we know this from our voice search ranking reports, is that whenever you ask about buying on Google, Google basically just tells you a local listing from Google My Business. Now, something important happened in 2020, which is where Google shopping feeds with the Merchant Center is now kind of free. So anybody with an e-commerce website can submit products over to Google. And so what happens here is now that Google now has this whole plethora of information of products that it can now suggest. So when you say, hey, I want to buy some blue trainers, they'll be able to provide a feed of those trainers. And that might then tie in with that previous prediction of how to buy them. So there's my 3 for Google. 3 for Apple. So bit of a cheat on this one, but I'm going to go with last year's prediction that Apple will launch something equivalent to actions and skills, but for Siri. Second one is, again, I think they're going to launch a HomePod with a screen. So we saw them launch the cheaper HomePod Mini at £99. I think they're going to do something with the screen, but it'll be restricted to only being able to call other iPhones, etc. So within the iOS iPhone universe. And the last one for Apple is that Siri will then start to duplicate and be similar to what we've seen from Google Duplex. So going out and doing proactive bookings, checking to opening times for you on your behalf. And the last three, so general industry predictions, would be, I think there's going to be an influx of connected devices, which are going to be using the Alexa Gadgets Kit and the Google Gadget Kit. So that's where basically you can have a physical device which then will Bluetooth through to your smart speaker. And then the difference here is it will interact with a skill. So it's not really a home connected device. This is a device specifically kind of to use within a skill or an action. So I think we're going to see more of those launching. The next one is then related to kind of voice with TV. So I think what we'll see is something like on a Netflix or a Prime or Google Chromecast or Disney Plus. One of those will launch some sort of interactive story, and we had seen those already with like Black Mirror and other kind of programs, but the interactiveness will be via voice, so you can say or answer or give a number, etc. So there's a number of platforms that do this already. I know about them already, but basically the prediction is one of the big kind of streaming platforms will launch this. And the last one is just voice out of the home. So I think in the UK we're probably going to see possibly a retailer or somebody in the transport logistics side of things or an entertainment company launching, or maybe a restaurant launching kiosks where it's voice ordering. So getting away from touching a screen, and you'll be able to use your voice to ask for a ticket, ask for to post an item, or ask to or tell the device how many plastic bags you've used and what method of payment you want to check out. So those are all my predictions. So also a big shout out to the Voice UK lunch. That was the topic for yesterday. So we had a really good discussion about predictions. So some of the discussions yesterday helped me steer towards these predictions this time. So thanks very much. Click the link below to read the in full blog with all the exact details on this. And if you want me to see my video of me reviewing last year's predictions, you can see that in the link below as well. So yeah, I'll see you in a year's time, and hopefully I'll score better than -11 on these predictions this year. Thanks.